Okay, so this is a TikTok mom out of New York. She is saying that $1,400 a month in food stamps is not enough to feed her family. Apparently, it's 11 of them at this point. She has 12 children, but I guess her and 10 kids live together. And she says that $1,400 a month in food stamps is not enough. I do know that some people sell some of their food stamps for 50 cents on the dollar to buy stuff like toiletries, soap, toilet paper, those kind of things. Not saying that she does, but I don't know. My whole thing is, what can she buy that will stretch, that will stick to the kids, that will, last for the month, like rices, pastas, big pot dishes, spaghettis, a lot of sauces, a lot of gravies, a lot of pastas, a lot of starches and potatoes that need to stick to their little asses, but not these Fruit Loops, ramen, macaroni, whatever she's been preparing for them. I know that there are struggle meals. I make struggle meals on my other TikTok page, but that's too much of a struggle.
So you heard what she said, right? Even though her vernacular was a little bit off, talking about rices and all this other stuff. But in order to complete a family of this size, 11 to 12 people, you need to have some sort of, I would say, membership, either at Jetro, Sam's Club, BJ's, Costco's, this type of places where you can buy things in bulk. Right, because you're dealing with $1,400 a month, and you have a large family of maybe 11 to 12 people, right? So pretty much what she needs to do is just to buy things in bulk sizes, pretty much, right?
Yeah, exactly.
She needs like big bags of rice, big 12 packs of beans, that type of stuff. I remember back in the days when we used to go in New York, we used to have, let's say, for instance, you go down to the poultry factory or wherever they have the meat factory, or whatever the case may be, on Myrtle and Broadway. If that's right, I'm thinking that's exactly where it was. But they used to have like a big box of chicken that used to come in like a brown wax texture colored box.
Wow. That
you used to buy maybe for like I would say $60 something or something like that. It used to come very cheap. She can go buy that. Once again, I said the beans. She could buy maybe a 12 pack of not a 12 pack, but a bag of carrots, right? Carrots is healthy. Be creative with the carrots. Cut it up in little small pieces. Add it to the meal. She could buy maybe a head of lettuce, 2 heads of cabbage. Cut that up. That's a meal too. A big, what they call this? A container of tomatoes. I'm going in. A big container of tomato sauce. Right? That's a meal. Big thing of ketchup. You could squeeze that ketchup in the stew to add a little flavor to it, right?
Oh, Jesus.
You gotta know how to survive with $1,400 a month. It's a whole lot.
Cooking 101 with Marcus. What? Nah. But seriously, like I agree with you as far as she needs to buy
big old thing of hot dogs.
Right.
The hot dogs come in a big old pack now.
But here's the thing, right? In her situation, first of all, I'm just gonna start with by saying, what a lucky woman to be receiving $1,400.
Pretty much,
okay?
Yeah.
In food stamps. I mean, most of us can't even compare, right? It's like unparalleled to most of us. We can't even say that we're receiving $1, let alone $1,400. Lady,
Great.
You have, according to her, she has 11 kids, or 12 kids, but 10 of them live with her, right? So, like, listen. Even if it's 15 kids, I don't care. $1,400 could go a far way if you know how to be a great shopper, right?
My mom made it happen with 6 of us. It was 6 of us, right?
Right.
She made it happen in the exact order as I mentioned. She went down to the wholesale place and she was able to buy these things on wholesale and still had enough money to maintain whatever
using cash
stuff
that she worked hard for.
Right, using cash.
Right? And same thing with my mom. She had 4 of us and she always made it happen. My grandmother had 7 kids and the other one had 13. And these are women of a particular age, obviously, right? They're from back in the day. I'm talking about my grandparents, not my mom. But they knew how to survive. You know what my grandmother taught me? And she would have been like, if she was alive today, God rest her soul, she would have been like 100 and something years old.
Yeah.
And if it's one thing she taught us was make sure you have the
bare
essentials.
Yep.
You got to have your flour. You have to have your sugar, right? Your rice, pasta, yeast, because these are women that made bread from scratch. Stop playing. Yeah. Okay, once you have eggs, yeast, flour, and sugar and milk, There's so many different recipes you could make.
You said eggs, right?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, you gotta have
there's so
them
many
eggs.
different recipes you can make. So there was never a time if the Wonder Bread ran out, no problem. We're gonna rock out and we're gonna need some dough. And we're gonna make fresh bread.
Damn
like
right.
stop playing. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
we're gonna eat today.
Yeah, exactly. She had the essentials, for when things ran low, which is the canned goods, right?
Exactly.
Canned
Yep.
mackerel, canned sardines.
Yeah.
There's so many different things. You
And
know
you
what I'm
can
saying?
make, you can make that with rice. You can mix it in with
Yes,
anything because
yes.
it becomes a meal. Rice is the basic
Essential.
the essential to the pot, right?
It is. It is.
Once you have rice and you have pretty much once you have rice, you can make anything with rice.
Right, because my grandmother was older, she didn't do, for instance, like the beans in the can,
Mm-hmm.
but she did do the beans in the bag, right?
That'll
And she
work
would soak
too.
it overnight, so by the
That'll
time
work.
you wake up, you're gonna get your rice and peas, you're gonna get your rice and beans,
I
you're gonna
remember
get
those
your
days.
your
Yeah.
meat incorporated with the rice and maybe a little beans. Man, the incorporation was real.
I remember those
you know,
days like
so
it was yesterday.
we never complained about anything. Yes, I did come from. I'm not first generation college, okay? Not.
Mm-hmm.
My uncles and everybody, they went to college and they did their thing, so
Correct.
therefore they always, they had the little money going on. You know what I'm
Correct,
saying?
yeah.
But still, nevertheless, she taught us how to survive even if we did not have that luxury, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, if that makes sense. Because she's like, listen, you got to understand versatility. You got to understand being up and being down.
Correct.
And if you don't have, this is what you have to do. So
Oh,
that
yeah.
was made known to us, or it became a commonality from the time we were coming up. Not because you had mean you're gonna waste. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like, like we were having a discussion about somebody else, and in this situation, right, nevertheless, this lady might not only be receiving $1,400 in food stamps, because a lot of time you're not just only receiving food stamps, you're receiving
Other things.
housing subsidies.
Other things,
You
like
know-
Paco, or
Well, that's
to
that's a
help-
New Jersey thing.
Well, listen, wherever you live.
Right, there's
You know what I'm
what hubby is saying is there's light and gas assistance as
of
well.
course.
So this woman is probably receiving so many other
So, yep.
subsidies. And the thing about it is, when you have this entitlement syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
you feel entitled for so many different luxuries that you don't even qualify
Correct.
for. First of all, if $1,400 in food stamps is not enough, then damn it, go and find a job and find some type of supplemental income.
Mm-hmm.
Don't complain to us, because like I said, a lot of people out there are not receiving anything. And in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion, the only people that should be receiving anything should be disabled, elderly, and isn't it 3 people?
Yeah.
Disabled,
Veterans,
elderly,
veterans,
and
disabled,
veterans.
and veterans.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's it. If you're
And-
if you don't fall into the 3 categories, go sit down somewhere.
And listen, put those kids in some kind of activity. Kids eat less
true.
when they are actively doing stuff outside of the home. They eat more when they just sitting around in the house
Yes.
just doing nothing, because
Yes.
they bored, nothing else to do. They want to always run back and forth to the cabinet, to the fridge, or whatever the case.
Pantry.
Put them in some kind of activity. I'm sure the system pays for that, right?
It's true.
The system pays for so many
That's
things
true.
that you probably just don't know about. You just gotta ask them. Say, listen, go down there. I got a whole bunch of kids that just running, bouncing off the wall, chimping out, doing a bunch of nonsense. What could I do with them?
Summertime roll around as
There
well.
you
There's
go.
school lunch
Send
in
them,
certain states.
send them to summer camp.
That too.
Summer camp, come through with the bus, the little cheese bus, come pick them up. You know what I'm saying? And take them down to summer camp.
Right, exactly.
They're gonna be
And-
burnt out by the time
and
they get home.
By the time they come home, you feed them heavy, and that's it. You give them
That's
breakfast
it.
before they leave. They're
That's
doing
it.
something throughout the day, and summertime, like in the evening time, boom, time to eat big,
That's
and
it.
that's it. You brush your teeth, take a shower, go
Yeah,
to
take
sleep.
a shower and that's it.
You know, so I'm not gonna sit here and feel sorry for this young lady.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she needs to stop.
I think her creativity level is kind of low
It probably
to
is.
the point where you see a lot of times females don't know how to differentiate between being a parent and just being a mom, right?
Well, being a
Like for instance, some of them would more focus on themselves, not knowing, like the reality didn't come in yet to know that I have other people that are dependent upon me.
Right.
This is basic things that she can do in order to maintain her circle of 12.
right with $1,400 of assistance money.
Yeah.
But anyway, y'all, let us know what you think. Also, if you have any suggestions as far as what she could do in order to make her $1,400 stretch every month in order to feed her kids, drop your comments in the comment section.
And she could do it too, because from what I mentioned, I probably saved her a whole bunch of money just from the list of things that I said. All right, so she can do it.